One gives agents superpower to connect with all apps from the internet. Claude now is going to go and find the latest people that we prospected from our CRM, and we're going to write emails to send them to convert them to become a One customers. And because of One, I don't have to go to my email because my agent takes care of pretty much all of it. Andrew, can I do a screen share and show everybody?
Presented by Zapier, the AI automation company.
Do you want to just walk me through how this works?
Yeah, absolutely. So in order for us to get One into our system, it's really very simple. What we need to do is we need to install the One CLI, and it's really like a couple commands of line. We do the One CLI and we install it, and then we initialize the One. It's really that simple. Once you do this,
just copy both of those and put it into terminal, and I'm ready to roll.
Literally, we copy this, and then you have a terminal window. You just put it in, and you're good to go. Like you're gonna get this, and you're good to go. Like it's gonna walk you through how to do it. That simple.
All right, so we've got One installed. We've got everything set up. What do we do now?
So now we're going to go to Claude, and we're going to ask Claude to get us the. So we're gonna say, get me the latest 10 people from Adio. So we're going to now get the latest 10 people that we have. This is actually connected to our Adio. So it should now go to Adio and grab us the latest 10 people that we've added into our system, to our CRM. Sweet. So we can see here we've got the latest people we have.
Okay.
So now what I can do is I can tell, please, for each one of these, I want you to do a deep research on the internet to understand their company, because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to write them an email to tell them about One and why One would help their company. So the idea is when you're working with One is going to grab the knowledge from our internal system. These are vetted knowledge about how these third-party apps work. And then it's going to figure out like what it needs to do in order for it to achieve what it needs to achieve. So like, for example, in here, you can see like it used the One CLI to execute the action. Mm-hmm. And behind the scene, it already has like the knowledge it needs in order for it to perfectly do exactly what we just did here. And now you can see like the agent is creating it's doing like a research on 9 companies. And of course the Gmail account, it's not going to do anything because obviously it's a Gmail. And then here you can see like it's now doing a deep research. Of course, this is Claude, and like once we have everything complete, we're gonna turn it into a skill or a flow so that I can run it every day, or I can run it every 10 minutes, so that we could repeat the same process time and time again.
So the first time I might actually teach it how to connect to a tool that I use for converting Gmail email addresses into LinkedIn profiles. I might teach it how to do all kinds of stuff to get it. Once I get it right the first time that I've done this, I say, now turn it into a skill, so next time it's faster to work together with it. I get it.
That's exactly correct. So and then once you have the skill that is perfect and is exactly to what you need, you can now put it on a cron job, and then it'll just run every single time. So right now it's doing that deep research, and then once it's finished, so now it looks like we're waiting for One. There's 1 local agent still running. So in a second, it'll be done.
Do you live now in Claude Code on your desktop?
I pretty much do not go to apps, like quite literally. I rarely, very rarely, calendar maybe because like I want to go to the meeting or something, but not for the research. Like I have an email triage, I have a daily triage that gets sent to me. And I also have like the recaps, like pretty much I live in the terminal these days. Like I believe that this is the future.
Yeah, so terminal is like the chat app for smart people, you know?
It's quite powerful, like especially when you have it connected to all your tools, it just becomes a game changer. So we can see here we have done research. This actually people like so you can see here, we can see like, okay, high fit, good fit, different angle, lower priority. So we can see here, like, because my agent, of course, knows a lot about like One and about me, it kind of like determined, it determined that like, okay, we have a good fit here. We have like a B, like, so we have a high fit here. We have a good fit here. And then like maybe different angle. It's an investor, not a customer. So like we have an investor here. So for example, like in this particular case, maybe I want to make it to only work on the high fit and good fit. So I'm going to tell it for the high and good fit, please write me a draft for them. Now, as I mentioned, the way usually I like to do things is I go with the flow with the agent and like work with it step by step. Once I'm finished, I then convert it into a skill that essentially can rerun the whole process again.
Okay.
So now you can see like it's going into the execute draft email, and it's going to write me the draft.
And I'm assuming that you've got some kind of skill in it already for drafting email or writing in your voice. Do you have that?
I don't have a skill, but I have the like my agent MD file that essentially like I already set that up
That knows you. Okay.
It knows exactly who I am. It knows what one is. It knows, like the different features we have.
Okay.
And it knows also like what are the people we need to go to and the people that we shouldn't. Like, and of course it knows, like my strategy, because I'm always updating these strategies as I'm working. So we can see here it created four draft for me. So I'm gonna go to my email.
Oh, and because it also has a connection to Gmail, it can draft the messages for you. I see.
That is exactly correct. So you can see here, like it literally drafted these messages, and you can like we can see them all here. Like one API for X, and it'll write it like in a way that actually makes sense for this prospect, because it did the research for that prospect, and now like I have it. Like all these emails are now here, so I can either actually. Usually I actually do send it. Like I'm actually I go that far
because it's gotten
it's
so
pretty
good at knowing how you write. It's clear. Got it. All right. So I see this. Basically, all one is doing is saying, you're going to use all these tools. I'm going to connect it and make it easy for you. Voila. Then I'm going to disappear. You're not even going to notice that you're using one anymore.
That is exactly the case. We want one to disappear. So we want it so that like your agent will use one to learn how to use the third party and disappears. So now that I have this, real power move. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just really excited about like what you could have even done up until now. You could have even said, I want you to go and see if we've emailed them before. And if we emailed them before, use that to inform what you say. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. You don't have to do that now. My mind is going into all these different possibilities. You're about to give me a power move.
Yes. I mean, what I was going to do is, so now that we've done this, I want to make it so that I can do it again and again and again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, now that we've done all this, I want you to do one more thing for me so that it allows me to run this exact same process again in the future. So turn this in full details into a skill. So now what the agent is going to do is going to literally go through the whole process that we did, grab each pieces of it and turn it into a skill. So now if I go into a new session, I can rerun this and boom, it's going to do the exact same thing.
And now because it has your calendar, it has your email, you can now start asking it questions. You can start asking it to book meetings for you.
You got it. It literally can do anything. And I quite literally do everything from here.
What do you do when you're away from your desk? How do you access Claude Code to get it to do things like that?
I built this for myself. So this is a command center, and this tells me like what I need to do, and I can also send it like I can send it from here, like what is the latest unread email.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so I built it like for myself, but typically, like I also have it connected to Slack. I also have it connected to Telegram. So I would communicate.
I saw the Telegram connection. That means one is connected, but how are you interacting with all these different tools in Telegram?
So Telegram is connected to my Claude Code on my machine. So when it works exactly the same way as like OpenClaw. But I actually set up the connection to my Claude Code, and every time I interact with Telegram, it will create a session and do whatever I want to do, and then it notify me either by Slack or by Telegram. Now, personally, I am not a huge fan of like doing stuff when I'm not right next to my computer, because I just feel like I'm gonna get things lost. especially if something takes a long time. Just my personal preference. I know other people, they tend to do that.
I'm the opposite. I do like to do it remotely, and I like to be able to do both. The serious work is here, but then little changes I like to do remotely. Essentially, what you're saying is that one is turning Claude code into OpenClaw, because through Telegram or Slack, you could communicate with your desktop and then get it to do all the things that you would want OpenClaw to do.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
So now we have the skill. So we have this audio outreach skill. So if I now, like if I start a completely net new instant, so I do audio outreach, and now this is gonna, it's just gonna do exactly what we did, but without having to pretty much do anything. So like it's just gonna, you're gonna see it fly now.
And then automatically you're going to have all those drafts in your inbox.
That is correct. That is exactly correct. You can see like it's zipping through everything.
Yeah, compared to what it was before.
Yeah. And now it's going to do the deep research for all of them. So like it's basically going to do this. Now, of course, if you're building this for production, there's one more step that we didn't do, which is you do not want to do the same thing again. So you need to keep a record of like so typically I would tell it to go into audio and add a flag. So the next time it gets the customers or like the potential, the prospects, it'll not bring the ones that we've worked with.
Right. The flag is basically saying I've already messaged these people, and then the next time it knows to avoid the people that it already messaged.
That's exactly correct. Yeah. I usually call them AI triaged.
Okay.
So yeah. So now it's doing like research on the 10 different companies or 9 different companies. And keep an eye at this. Like it's barely.
I see. You're saying because of the way that one works, you're using very little of your.
That's right. Yeah, because even though we're using so many tools in order for us to do what we need to do, the agent grabs the knowledge before it's about to make the tool call. It'll then make the tool call and forget about the knowledge, which is very, very powerful because this means, there will be no limit to the amount of tools that you could use.
And token usage is still very low because of this.
Token usage is most optimized. Like it's like it cannot get any lower. If you want to achieve what you want to achieve, it can literally cannot be lower because you're giving the agent the only knowledge it needs. And now we have the full research, and now it's going to start drafting these emails for us.
How granular can I get with one? Can I say you can read email, you can write drafts, but not send?
100%. So this is a fantastic question. So when you are onboarding, it's going to ask you for a secret key. When you create a secret key, I'm going to just create like a demo. I'm going to delete this one, demo key. So we can create this key. And then when I have this key, I can go in here and then can configure access. So by default, they have access to all connection with full access. But I can say I need read and write only, or I need read only. I can also do specific access. So I can say like, you can see here, like it's showing all my connected access. So for example, if I go into Gmail, I can say full access, I can say read write, I can say custom. If I say custom, then you can see here, like these are all the different actions that we have. So I can say like, I only want to draft. So I can say, for example, get user draft. Let's do create user draft and create draft maybe. So now if I do this, this key now will only be able to do that.
I see, yeah.
So, and it'll not be able to have access to like anything else. And that's really like the, like one is a tool for the developers.
All right, let's see, did it finish?
Let's see. Yeah, it's finished.
Okay,
it's
and
completed.
now all your drafts are in your email.
In my inbox. And we can see here. These are all the different drafts that we have for us.
And much faster this time. It's now integrated in.
That is exactly correct. Yeah, and of course, like this would be, because you'll be using your agent, it'll be in your voice.
Right. Okay, let's look at email. I hate email. I'm learning to deal with it. You've got a way that you don't even have to go into your inbox. Can I see how you operate with email?
Yes, absolutely. So the interesting thing about email is you need to reply, and it's it's nerve-wracking when you want the agent to reply because you're not sure like how it's going to reply. So we need to create a rubric. We need to give the agent a rubric of like how we like to reply.
Okay.
So the easiest way to do it is to basically go to your past sent emails and give these to your agent so that your agent can essentially understand the different categories of emails that you receive. Like, so for example, in my case, I get tickets from customers, I get investor emails, I get partnership opportunities, and I get like leads. These are the main types of emails that I get. Now, what I created is a flow that allows you to create this rubric, and really like all you need to do that is give this URL, like like you give this URL to your agent, and it's gonna follow through this article that literally talks in details how it's gonna how your agent will go and load all your emails that you sent in the last 6 months, so that it learns about your like your stuff. So I'm gonna show you here a
We'll
little
have it
bit
in the
about
show
like
notes.
yeah. So I'm gonna go here into Claude, and what I'm gonna tell it is, so I of course already run this. Like this process will run. It'll take like 20 minutes or 30 minutes depending on how many emails you have.
Okay.
So so I'm gonna ask it to describe the. Please explain how the rubric flow works.
And essentially what you're doing is what we're giving people in that blog post is a way to get Claude to go through your email and understand how you respond, what you do. This is it studying using a clear process. Once it studies it, now it's able to start helping you write email in response. Okay. So
That is exactly correct.
okay, and this is the way that you like to respond. It's now explaining what it studied from you.
Yeah, so this is explaining how the flow works. I'm gonna get into details of it. Now, of course, you could literally go into that article, copy that URL, and as far as you have one, it'll be able to produce the exact same thing. So I'm gonna
Okay,
tell it.
let me read this out. For example, so it's saying it analyzes your email sent to learn your communication patterns. Then it generates a rubric.yaml that the email triage skill uses. Okay, pipeline here, the 5 stages. It fetches sent emails. It batch classifies with Haiku. It consolidates categories. It builds a rubric, and the output is all these different files that it's talking about, and that's how it then knows how to respond to messages.
Correct. That's exactly. It's very, very complicated, but it works. And this is literally why I don't actually have to go to my email,
Okay, so
because
now
I have this rubric. So let me show you the rubric. Show me my rubric, please.
do you have it send email on your behalf or just draft it?
I am the Wild West. Yeah, I make it
Wow.
send the
Okay.
emails. Yeah. So you can see here it's certain emails. It also has a feature where you could specify VIPs where under no circumstances it replies to them.
Okay.
So you can see here, like we have investor, it needs attention. So you can see like 244 emails from investors. Obviously, like I'm a founder, so I
Yep.
talk a lot with a lot of investors. And then you can have here support, like we have support, helpful, this is support. And then you can see here, like it's saying need attention, which means if it's an investor, it will not reply to them. It'll draft. And then it'll tell me that, it'll send me a Slack message that like, okay, an email like that needs your attention is here. I think you should reply in this way. Sometimes it'll suggest, sometimes it'll not suggest because it just literally doesn't know.
But it's suggesting it in a chat window, essentially, in terminal?
It's suggesting it, correct? Yeah, it's suggesting it. Like for me, it comes in here, like so. Like I basically get it inside
Because
here.
you created a way for you to go
because I
from
created
message.
a way. Like yeah, you can see here, like it's saying this. So like I can hit reply, or I can reject, or I can approve it.
Okay.
So it's a little more sophisticated system that I built for myself. But yeah, it'll send it to you in a Slack, and then if you reply to it, it'll just do whatever you tell it to do.
I
So
see.
typically I would like if I get something like this, I would tell it like yeah, reply saying that I'm available next week, for example. And then the agent will just take care of it from that point on. Like it'll take care of the whole correspondence because it knows that it doesn't need me anymore.
So let me send you an
Uh,
email right now. I'm going to say something like, when should we meet up? I'm going to email it to you. And it can even give me calendar and respond and all that.
if I give yeah if I mean like if I run the email triage, yeah, it'll literally do that.
Can you just, oh, it's email triage. Can you just say, listen, if you get an email from Andrew, I want you to work out a time for him and me to meet up for coffee. And email triage is a skill, it sounds like.
Yeah, the email triage is basically what runs on my so I have a cron job that runs my email triage. Now, of course, for me, as I mentioned, like because I like the system, the way the system works is that if something is like it needs to be like I have my VA that takes care of the tickets and like these types of things, who also uses the same system to accelerate his work. So it's pretty safe. Like you'll see now, like if I get an email from I want you to reply with my availability for the next week so that I can set up a time to meet with him.
Mm-hmm.
Did you send the email?
I did.
Perfect. So now we're going to see actually what happens behind the scene. So it's like figuring out my availability for next week. And you can see like it's also searching memories because it's like very specific to me. Now, of course, this would typically run behind the scenes. So like I'm running it right now so that
I see. I
like
found one unread email from Andrew Warner asking to meet for coffee. Let's check this.
It's checking your VIP status. So because I have a VIP status for people who are in my VIP. So now it's gonna figure out, and that's so you can see like it's not in my Supabase contact. Is wide open, okay. Now, of course, this would be happening behind the scene. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna ask it to send me a notification to confirm if I want to send the email or not.
But ordinarily, you wouldn't even have it confirm. It would just do it the way that you
if I put it inside the like if this is the case because it hasn't yet seen your name before, it will not do that. You know, like if it seems like because it's gonna research who you are, and because it's gonna tell me like this is like Andrew. You know, like you need to do it yourself. Like because it's gonna suggest, like you can see here, like it's like good to go. So it already created a draft. So now I can say send it. And you can see here, actually, it created the notch for me. So Andrew, you can see here.
Oh, I see.
So this is essentially my notification system.
By the way, you've got to publish that app somehow. That's so cool that it's.
I'm gonna make it open source now that you say that. Yeah. Actually, I'm planning to open source this because this works with literally any agent. This allows your agent to communicate with you. So
without having to open up Telegram or even Slack.
Yeah. So the draft has been created. I can literally just tell it send the email.
Wait, can you do it from terminal?
I can do it from terminal. Yes, of course.
Let's do that from there.
Okay, so I already sent that from there.
Okay.
But yeah, I can actually can you actually check if you got the?
Check. I'm gonna hit here. Let me share my screen and I'll show you what I got. Okay. Nice. So here's what I got. I actually got two of them, like you said.
That's because one. Yeah, exactly. That's one from the one from the nudge and one from the terminal.
Okay, I'm now understanding how this works. Essentially, what you're saying is one easy way to connect any tool, any agent to all the other apps and tools that I use, my CRM, my email, my this, my that. And then once I do it, it's up to my imagination to decide what I want and up to my willingness to decide how much power I want to give it. Right?
That's exactly correct. And then, of course, the final thing that I'm going to share also is how you could take what you built and give it to your customers.
Right, because the idea is if I'm setting up these things for a customer, I don't want to have to get them to give me their username and password for Gmail, their username and password for all these tools. And I also don't want to do it remotely where I'm trying to tell them to click this and that. Okay, let's see how to do that.
Yeah, so we have a so basically like over here we can see like you could create different organizations. So you could create an org for yourself or for your clients. And you can select a client. So you can see here we have, I'm going to just flip for the sandbox. We can see here that we have nothing connected, but we have this thing called link. And what link does, you could fork this repo. It's free, you know, like it's open source. And actually we're going to embed it inside our dashboard. So you fork the repo, which is in our awesome one repo. and then you select what integration you want from your customers. So for example, let's say I want to connect Gmail. So you now have this link. You give this link to your customers. Your customers will see this. They'll see that this is secured by one. They click on Gmail, for example. They click connect. And let's connect this. Boom. So now Gmail is connected. So my customer Gmail now is connected. So if I now go into one, if I refresh, we can see here we have the Gmail that I just connected. So this means now you can set up an agent for your customers and deploy that for them completely 100% secure. And that agent is connected to your customers' connections.
Without having to ask them for passwords, without having to do it for them remotely. Give them a link, and then it automatically comes into one, and then from one we give the agents access.
That's exactly it.
All right. I see it. I can see why people got so excited about it on X. I mean, frankly, that's why you and I got on a call. I saw people just shoot this up on X, and I said, I got to understand it. And then our mutual friend Anna said that she's completely gone deep on this, and I go, all right, I got to get an intro to Mo. All right, Mo, thanks so much for doing this.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, yeah. All right. Bye. Oh, and if you stayed on this long, subscribe. We got more stuff. We're going to keep showing you how to build with AI, and I've got more creators, more founders, more for you to do with your AI experience. Subscribe. Bye, everyone.